Napoli talk, guys. I'm streaming from my phone, so it's gonna be, I think, in vertical this video. Apologies for that. I am traveling, so yeah, it's not in my usual studio. Guys. It's another win by Conte and the boys. This time against Juventus, our arch rivals. Even though this season we are absolutely in a league of our own compared to Juventus, guys. Let me go like that. I've got the Vesuvius behind me, by the way. um, guys, what an incredible second half after a first half that was a little bit under the usual for Napoli. We turned it up in the second half. Anguissa, guys, incredible turnaround. He gave away that goal in the first half. He was a little bit on the floor a few times, a bit too much, even though Juventus were fouling like crazy. But in the second half, he turned it around. And guys, Politano, I mean, this is not the same player that we were criticizing 2 or 3 years ago. This is a player that now I think is at a level where, fine, he's never going to be a Neres or Kvara type of guy. Like, he's not going to give you that kind of excitement, but he makes the right decisions. Not let aside defensively, but he knows now when he needs to cut into his left foot, when he needs to go to the right foot. And guys, he delivered that cross with his weak foot. It's something that not a lot of wingers do. It brings another dimension to the game because people don't know if he's going to cut inside or go deep. And Anguissa, oh my God, this guy, 3 games in a row now that he's either assisted or scored. And he is just on another level the last month. Let me get to some of the comments, guys. Johnny says, what a game. Ghost Mutt says, Dom, this is the year. Guys, this is... I'm not going to say it. But it very well could be. This is one of those games that makes you think like, okay, we are now fully... We are so deep in this, guys. We are just so deep into this run. There is no backing out. We've entered... and there's no going back. We are in this race. Now, will we win it? I don't know. I mean, Inter is a very good team, but we're going to go all the way, guys. I cannot see this team, going flat in February or March and losing it. Like, this is a team that I foresee on match day 38. We will either be in the glory or we will be fighting for it, And Inter have a lot of work to do, and if you follow their socials, if you follow some of the accounts, they are scared. They were celebrating that Kolo Muani goal as if he was an Inter player, but Kolo Muani, just like in December of 2022, he needs to go home and have a think about another loss because it's Napoli that have come away with this game, guys. Gustavo Braz says, brother, we are winning this championship. Paul says, Forza Napoli. Anguissa has spirit. First team to beat Juve this season. Must produce confidence. That's another thing that I think is so important, guys. Imagine had Juventus gone all the way this season without losing a game. Even if they didn't win the title, we would have never heard the end of it, of how they went through an invincible season and all that. No, that's not happening. Not on our watch, guys. Inter knows that they are in a fight, says Paul, 100%. They are worried. Kvaradona 77 says Forza Napoli. Jesse says Politano and Anguissa, insane work rate. Guys, there was a point in the 80th minute where Conte was asking all the players, like, are you okay? How many more minutes do you have? And Politano was just like, man, I've got 5 minutes left, coach. This is the maximum I can do. This is a player, guys, that 3 years ago could only last apparently 60 minutes. Remember with Spalletti, every time he was either on the bench or coming off on the 60th minute. Now he's playing 80, 90 minutes, and he's playing at a very high level. Again, he's not the type of winger that you watch because you love to watch him, but he's the type of winger that I think is so important in a team. And even if he doesn't have some good games every once in a while, we spoke about, back when we still had Kvara, whether we should be playing Kvara and Neres. But I think Politano is someone that deserves, at the end of the day, a lot of credit. He's someone that really cares. I mean, the way he celebrated Anguissa's goal as well. And I think that's so important. When you're running for the title, guys, when you are trying to win the title, I think what we need now is a group of players that really want to be there, that really believe in this, and Politano is one of them, guys. And I think everybody now that is on this team wants to be there. Did you see, guys, how Simeone came onto the field? Simeone, guys, who, he deserves, he could be a starting striker for 15 of the 20 teams in the Serie A. He must feel, in any other team, he must feel like, oh, I wish I had more space and all that. But he never said any word of, I want to leave, I want more space. And when he comes on, he gives it his everything. Guys, today he came on. Did you see what he did in those last few minutes? Got stuck in with the Juventus players. He went and did the header on the ground, putting his life in danger. Just absolutely insane, the motivation of these players. This is a group of players that really, really, really wants to be here, guys. They really want to experience this, whether it's for 90 minutes or for 1 minute. They want to contribute to the team. Jonas Alexander says, just damn, thinking the Viola game could be Scudetto deciding. This though, the grinta in this game, ... Guys, every game is Scudetto deciding because Inter are not going to let go. Inter are not going to let go. We have to win games until we get to that Napoli-Inter game, guys. And then there we have to crush them at home. And that's, I think, the key. That date of the 2nd of March is marked on my calendar, guys. Because that is the day that it's the big one. It's the big battle. Now these are important steps. These are very important steps, but there's a big battle waiting for us, guys, on the 2nd of March. And we need our best players. Everybody needs to be on form. And look, Conte has to manage these players very well now because, look, Oliveira got injured during training. And that's already one less person available to us for maybe a month, maybe more. I mean, we saw how long Buongiorno's taking to come back. We need to be very careful over the next few weeks to manage these players because it's true we're not playing in the Champions League and all that. But let me assure you that the training sessions that Conte is doing with these boys, it's tough ones. It's almost as if I think they're playing 90-minute games. They're not on holiday during the week, that's for sure. So we just need to be very careful during these weekdays to not pick up more injuries. Roland Duanda says, great match, guys. My love from Georgia. Good to see that there's some Georgians that are still following Napoli. Guys, by the way, you might wonder where I am. I'm in Paris, actually. And let's see if I meet Kvara. I got stopped a few times in Napoli with people saying that I look like Kvara, maybe with some bad lighting or something, because, I mean, I can see a little bit of resemblance, but not too much. It'd be interesting to see if in Paris they will do the same. Lawrence Moore says, just like against Atalanta, we started off slowly, giving the ball away. In second half, we turned it around. And I think that's one of the advantages that you get by not playing midweek as much as the other teams, is that you can last a bit longer. But as I said, it's not like at the same time, it's not like we're on vacation during the middle of the week. Conte is doing very, very intense training sessions with the boys. Paul says Juve were excellent in the first half, toughest team to beat, and we beat them. Yeah, guys, I think we cannot underestimate enough this result. I don't know if that's the right word, but what I'm trying to say is that some people will underestimate it. Okay, they will say, "Oh, but Juventus is just sixth. It's not a big result. Wait until you meet Inter. Wait until you meet Lazio. Wait until fine." It's true. Those guys, they are above Juventus in the league. But who's beaten Juventus this year? Nobody. Nobody's come away with 3 points. Everybody at most 1. So that's an extra 2 points that Napoli have compared to any other team that has faced Juventus so far. And trust me, there will not be that many people that can say the same. And I already spoke to you guys last week about this, right? But when you compare how Napoli are doing now in the second half of the season versus the first half of the season, we are already 3 points better because we won against Verona and before we lost. Another 3 points better because we won against Atalanta and in the first game of the first half of the season we lost, and now an extra 2 points better because we drew against Juventus and now we won. So in total, that's already plus 8 points compared to the first half of the season. These are 3 out of the very few teams in which Napoli had troubles with. And we are already at maximum points against these teams. And if we had 44 points in the first half of the season, we are now on trend for 52 points for this second half of the season, assuming we do everything else the same as last time. But potentially, we can do even better. Potentially, we go and we also beat Lazio, for example, and that's already an extra, even more 3 points. And the teams that we had already won in the first half of the season, I would assume that we can beat them again, because this is a team that has improved a lot. I don't think we will... There will be difficult games, but I don't think we will suffer as much as we had at times at the start of the season. I remember the game against, for example, Parma, the game against, all these games that were very, very tough for Napoli. Yes, we got 3 points, but they were tough. I don't think they will be as tough in the second half of the season. Let me get to some more comments, guys. I'm excited, and this team is just incredible. It's just incredible right now. Rioni... Vardoshvili says, absolutely deserved win. Congrats. Juve deserved nothing with that second half. And I think this is another fan from Georgia. So good to see a lot of Georgians still supporting Napoli. It really brings a lot of joy to my heart that there's the affection remains. The affection remains. Simeone pulling a John Terry, says Mattias Bifani. I thought it more than a John Terry. It's Phil Jones, no? With Manchester United. He did that where he was on the ground. But maybe John Terry did it as well at some point in his career. Lex says Anguissa for president. What has this man been eating lately? I think Anguissa has always had this in him. And now he's just at a point where he's just peaked. He's peaked at exactly the right time. And it's great because it's also maybe a period where McTominay is not as to the same level as he was in some earlier parts of the season. And it's good if they can balance each other off, right? What I'm really worried about is when a team has players that they all peak at the same time, because yes, you win those games, but then if you all drop at the same time, then you will lose those games. Whereas if you have some players that peak, some players that don't, and you balance that out, maybe you can be able to squeeze out a win in both of those periods, when player A and when player B are at different phases. So hopefully at some point, I think Anguissa will have maybe a bit of a downtrend, and it will coincide with when McTominay can pick up the baton, So I'm excited about that, guys. Jacksu says, we did it, Dom. What a fight. Such a great win. And the first loss for Juve in this season. Yes, boys. Yes, and girls that are watching. According to my analytics, there's not many, but there might be. Shezab Hassan says, did Napoli miss Kvara? Neres, what a player. Look, I think it's early to say how much we will miss Kvara. I think from a numbers point of view, we might end up missing Kvara because we just have to really hope that Politano and Neres never pick up an injury. We have to always hope that someone finds a goal. But yeah, maybe, I don't know. Like, statistically speaking, I think at some point there will be a game where we say, man, I wish we had Kvara. So far, so good. But just from like a numbers point of view, with so many games still to go, with let's say 15 games still to go, out of those 15, I think there will be one where we will reflect on, I wonder what would have been if he was there. Loved watching Politano today, says Spencer. Yeah, Politano, I mean, I spoke highly of him earlier. What a player, guys. What a player. Politano, incredible. Antonio Tonti, how does Inter have 2 games less than Napoli? Easy. One, because they had their match against Fiorentina suspended after 16 minutes because of the Bove incident. And since then, guys, by the way, Fiorentina have not been the same. And this is also, I mean, look, thoughts and prayers to Bove, no? And he made a good recovery, it seems. But this was a point in time when Fiorentina was in a really good point of their season. Everything was going super well for them. And then this thing happens with Bove, and it just kills them. Like, they have not been the same team since then. And, it's one of those games where maybe had nothing happened to Bove, Fiorentina would have come away with a draw, with 3 points. Now, probably, when they have to play this game again, it's likely that actually Inter will win. And okay, fine, this is not what's important in life, the guy almost died, so that's clearly more important, and that's what we should focus about. But considering that he didn't die, I guess we can talk about the what ifs without feeling too bad. Let's move on, because otherwise I'll get cancelled. And then the other game that Inter have to recover is the one from the that they missed from the Supercoppa, no? I think. And then there might be, because they might have recovered that one, then there might be another one even. But correct me in the chat, guys, if I'm wrong. Jesse says, we legit beat Atalanta away and Juve undefeated since selling Kvara. What even is this season? And I think, we don't even speak about Osimhen anymore. But this is a team without Osimhen. This is a team that brought in Lukaku on the 31st of January. Guys, we didn't even start the season with Lukaku. We didn't have a striker to start with. Our striker did none of the preseason with this team, guys. And yet we found a way to quickly incorporate him, and it's been great. I want to give a shout out to a few of the members and fans who have donated. So let me go one by one, guys. I don't want to miss any of these. So first of all, shout out to Napoli Nation TV. 5 months as a Club Vesuvio member. My man says, watch the match in LA with the LA Napoli fan club. Shout out to all the fan clubs out there, and the LA Napoli fan club, I believe the person in charge is called Matthew, if I'm not mistaken. But correct me if I'm wrong. And he's a great guy. Says, what an amazing atmosphere. If you're within a drive, join the passion. Guys, go ahead and do it. Napoli 41482 says, Adeyemi is close to joining Napoli. And thank you for the $2 donation. Let's see. Look, I prefer Garnacho. Adeyemi is good. I just worry a little bit about his injury record, to be honest, and the fact that he doesn't seem overly keen on joining us. Apparently the rumors are that we have an agreement with Borussia Dortmund, but not with the player, who would rather stay in Germany. It seems that he has a daughter in Switzerland, so Germany is a bit easier for him. But yeah, I don't know. These kind of things always scare me a little bit when a player doesn't even want to be here. We need players that really want to be here, and I stress this again. This is a team that it's not guaranteed that we walk onto the field and we're the best. No, we have to win the games by fighting. And you can only get the result that you want if you really want to get that result, if you really want to be there, if you really feel like this is your project, you know. And if we buy a player who doesn't feel this, then it's better that he stays home. So Adeyemi, fine, but only if he really wants to be here. Unlimited Garrett, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Says, I'm going to Napoli today to study for a few months. Che cazzimma nella partita. Glad to be back on the live. Also, Simeone had me laughing so hard. Man, Simeone, what a legend with that header on the ground. I can't wait to see that on Instagram Reels. Good, man. Good that you're going to Napoli for a few months. Go learn some Neapolitan and enjoy the atmosphere, man. Go watch some games. It will be incredible. It will be incredible. And then I want to give a shout out to Louis C. Thank you for the $4.99 donation, guys. Thank you to everybody that donates. Says definitely need more depth. Need to sign another 2 players this transfer window. Definitely. I'd be curious to know, guys, in the chat which positions you think. Probably it will be the Kvara replacement and maybe a right center back, because look, I think Juan Jesus and Buongiorno on the left, I think we're covered. Juan Jesus has been good so far, but I worry if Rachmani one day has a stop. Who are we going to put on the right hand side? Because Juan Jesus and Buongiorno are more left-sided players. So those are the 2 kind of positions that I would be taking a look at, guys. Let me go to some more of the comments, guys. I'm on my phone, which means it's a bit harder for me to have all the comments very visible. So I'll try to go a bit chronological order, and apologies to the members if I don't get to your comments until later down. But let's see. I wanna get everybody on this live, guys. Lewis says also Simeone tried so hard in the 8 minutes he played, and that's what Conte gives his team. And I remember, guys, an interview that he did with DAZN when he said that when Spalletti told him to come onto the field for 15 minutes in one of the games, I think it was against Roma where he ended up scoring, he looked at Spalletti like, oh my God, you're giving me 15 minutes? That's amazing. Like I only get 5 or 10 usually. And you know, he's got that attitude where he's just grateful for the minutes that he does get. You know, he's not the type of guy to complain, oh, you only gave me 15 minutes. No. 15 minutes? Fine, great. This is amazing. Even 1 minute, great. It's amazing. And that's the attitude that these players need to have, and I think he's a fundamental part of the team. You know, and maybe he doesn't contribute with goals and assists, but I can bet that he's the guy that keeps the level in the training super high. Napoli Nation TV says that mediocre relevant club is no longer undefeated. We are Napoli. Jorge Reina says outstanding performance. Vincenzo Bertillo is in the house and he says Antonio with a 4 brings the winning mentality. Yes, boys. Yes, he does. Napoli 41482 says hope we do add Karim Adeyemi to the club. Napoli says this win is so sweet. Simeone's got that grinta in his DNA, says Lorenz Moore. That's what we need. Unlimited Garrett says this was so goated. Glad to come to the live and haven't had the chance recently. I'm sorry, guys, at this live I'm on my phone. I watch the game on my phone. I don't have my computer, so there's no fancy photoshops. There's no fancy edits. It's just a conversation between between us, between a bunch of people that want to speak about Napoli. Paul says Meret had a great save. Wow, thank you, Paul. Thank you, because I was so close to forgetting about talking about Meret, but Meret had an incredible save in the first half. And yes, the first half still ended 1-0 for Juventus. So did it really, let's say, was it game changing? Probably not, because it just means that Juve would have had their goal earlier, and then the game would have been, well, game changing, yeah, because the game would have been very different. But I mean, in the end, it's not like Juve then didn't go on and score. But anyways, apart from that, what an incredible save! Meret has had an incredible run of games recently. I mean, now it's maybe 2 months that he's been consistently one of our best players. Barely made a mistake. Maybe once made a mistake in the last 3 or 4 months. But other than that, he's been so reliable, so good, and that save was incredible. Same with Di Gregorio's save on Lukaku, actually. But I think Meret's was even nicer. Even nicer because it was a guaranteed goal by Juventus, and somehow he managed to get back on his feet, and that's great. Before I get to another comment, because I have some notes on some things that I want to talk about, and I was about to forget about Meret because I was so busy reading the comments. So let me get to the other point that I want to talk about. Is 2 more points, okay? Number 1, how many yellow cards did Juventus not receive? And they had so many fouls. I mean, it was inevitable that at some point one of these fouls was going to be so reckless that it would result in a penalty, because these guys were fouling all over the field so recklessly. They were going to the ground like crazy. And until the 90th minute, they only had 1 yellow card, and it was from Cambiaso at the end of the first half after his 4th foul. Okay? And the second yellow card comes in the 90th minute. So again, after the entire half has gone by, to a player that it was his first foul in the game, who's irrelevant because he's one of the Juventus's young players. He's never going to play, whatever. But Koop Miner, Locatelli, all these guys, nothing. I mean, how can you not give a yellow card for the penalty? It's a goal-scoring opportunity. It's not a red, but it's a yellow. The fouls on Politano, the fouls on Di Lorenzo, the fouls all over the field on Anguissa. Never Juventus got a yellow card. Even the one that was played on, the foul of Anguissa at the edge of the box, of Juventus' box in the first half, and the referee gave play on. When the game stops, then you give the Juventus player a yellow card, because it was a clear goal-scoring opportunity right outside the box. It's a yellow card every day. And then instead, Napoli received a yellow card with Lobotka for something that was so innocuous. It was incredible, guys. Like, the refereeing today is incredible. I'm surprised that we even got a penalty in this game, to be honest, because the way that he handled the yellow cards was absolutely ridiculous. Now, what I want to say on top of that is this. When Cambiaso from Juventus conceded a free kick where he was pulling Politano's shirt and he received the yellow card, okay? He didn't receive a yellow card because he pulled Politano's shirt, but he received a yellow card because he protested like crazy with the referee, right? So, first of all, for me, that should have been a double yellow. 1, for the shirt pull, which is always a yellow card, and 2, for the protest, okay? But let's ignore that. And the second thing is, every time that there was a foul, all the Juventus players went and protested. When there was maybe a foul on Anguissa in Juventus's goal, not one Napoli player went to protest with the referee. But you have to protest. Di Lorenzo has to go there and and put pressure on the referee. He has to make the referee's life difficult, and that's something that we need to work on as a team. We need to be more aggressive with the way that we are with the referees. Not to the point that you get a yellow card. You don't want to shout at their face, but Di Lorenzo, as the captain, has to go there and has to point out to the referee, like, 3 fouls there, 5 fouls here, shirt pull there. He has to point them out in a respectful way, but he has to go. And too often, I think I don't see that. And I see that instead with other teams quite a lot. Let me get to Mike. Thank you, my man. The $2 donation. Guys, thank you to everybody that donates. Really, it means a lot. Game had 1-1 written all over it. What a great win. Yeah, look, it was a game where I think a draw could have been a result, but then when you look at the match stats, I've got them here. The match stats. Let's take a look. We had 9 corners against 1 for Juventus. Okay, 14 shots against 5 for Juventus. Pass accuracy higher than Juventus. Less fouls than Juventus. So I think honestly, we proved that we were the better team. We passed the ball around better, especially in the second half. We didn't play as dirty as them. We got to the opposition goal more often. And look, apart from that save that Meret had to do in the first half, there wasn't too many opportunities for Juventus, and the goal that they scored was honestly a gift. This was Anguissa, which gifted them the first goal. So I can see a scenario, a universe where it ends 1-1, but I also think that we're the better team by far. So guys, let me get to some more comments. I'm gonna try to get to as many comments as possible. Guys, Maximus says, please no drama with Zambo's extension, just get it done. Yeah, this has to just be something that gets done. But look, let's not break the magic. How many times do players perform like this because they're trying to win the new contract? So maybe we wait, maybe Anguissa feels like he still has to prove himself a little bit more to Napoli. And then, when they get the contract, then they just like, okay, now it's time for La Dolce Vita. Look, I don't think that's going to happen with Anguissa. I think he's a great professional, so it's a joke. But, I remember back then with Zuniga, with Zuniga left back in the early 2010s, he was playing amazing. He was about to go to Juventus, all this kind of stuff. We finally agree for him to sign. He signs for 4 million a year as a left back like 15 years ago or 10 years ago. The match after, he breaks his ACL. It's like the curse of signing people. So yeah. No, but yeah, let's get it done, guys. Let's get it done. Let's not joke around. It's not going to be like that with Anguissa. Olid says, La Capolista se ne va. Yes, we do. We escape from the clutches of Inter and Atalanta, who are trying to slow us down and catch up to us, even though Inter have 2 games in hand. Danny Formello says, this is like when I discovered Michael Jackson died last Halloween. What? I don't understand that comment. Super Alexander says, Napoli goes for Scudetto, Forza from Georgia. Let's go, boys. I love that still people from Georgia are watching the channel. Do you think we will buy Garnacho or Adeyemi? It seems more and more likely like it might be Adeyemi. But I already said, only if the guy really wants to come. I feel like there's some motivation issues with him at the moment. Just need to get Buongiorno and Oliveira back now, says Maximus. Yeah. Look, we do. We do. I think especially Oliveira, because Spinazzola does not have 90 minutes in his legs, at least not every week, and he's on the verge of getting injured, it seems like, every week. Like, he's just such a fragile player, Spinazzola, no? But look, Buongiorno, let's not rush him. He's young. He's he needs to be playing for Napoli for the next 5, 6, maybe 10 years. The last thing I want is for us to rush Buongiorno and he picks up an injury that then is a follow-on to this one and it ruins his entire career and all this kind of stuff. Look, he had a serious injury with his back, with his spine. Let's go easy. Juan Jesus is doing a good job. I don't want to rush him. Whenever he's ready, he's ready. But so far, so good from Juan Jesus. Then maybe one day, maybe next game, he screws up. Fine. If he screws up once every 8 games, for me, that's okay. It's totally fine. It's better than 8 out of 8, no? Which is what we were expecting. So, yeah. Olit says, what a game. I was sneak watching the game during a family gathering under the table. Let's just say I wasn't sitting at that table for very long. Bro, your family needs to think about their priorities and needs to encourage you to watch this game. You shouldn't have to hide. You shouldn't have to hide who you are, man. You just gotta be a Napoli supporter out in the open, you know what I mean? In front of family, in front of everybody. You should never hide that. You should never be sneaky about that, bro. No, but I know what you mean. Sometimes you're with family and, it's like, well, with my family, that would never happen because we would all be watching the game, no? But I can imagine for other people that might not be the case. But yeah, sometimes it happens. I was at a wedding last year. Guys, think about it. Last year, I was at a wedding and there was Lecce Napoli. And we were winning. It was the one we were winning 4-0. And we had Rudy Garcia on. And I was at the wedding of my friend. I flew out to Lisbon for this wedding. I flew out there and I was watching the game on my phone, I flew out all the way there just to stream a football game. So, yeah, I've had to do this sneaky thing every once in a while. But, yeah. Mauro says, we synced the unsinkable Juve. Yes, we did. They are going down, boys. Super Alexander says, last 2 games, what a character, tough comebacks. Napoli, very, very cynical. That's true. 2 comebacks in a row against 2 very good teams. This is the spirit of the team, guys. John C says, I felt something when Zambo scored and just stood there like a statue. I knew we would win. Yeah, the tide turned. And it was very clear that if Napoli could unlock Juve once, then they could do it again. And we just kept piling the pressure. And then, a great piece of footwork by McTominay, but also a great action, to get the ball to Lukaku finding McTominay. Very good all round. I wish Ngonge scored that last opportunity, says Careless Yogurt. Yeah, that would have been good also for Ngonge. But I think it's nice to see him on the field in the first place. Good to see that Conte has not forgotten about him. Anthony Dabaco says, second half domination. They had XG of 0. Forza Napoli sempre. Maximus says, the luck though, second day on the job and Colomwani scores against us. Yeah, dude. I mean, Colomwani, I knew he was going to score. It was so obvious that a team buys a player and they score against us, It's clear. It was either going to be him or Vlahovic. Paul says Napoli has one player to stand up. Sometimes it's McTominay, Lukaku, and Passos Cara. Today was Anguissa. The team has a resource of winners. Guys, a lot of comments. Old Heart Rossonero is in the house. Says put likes to dumb people. That's right. Put some likes. There's about 100 of you at this moment in time watching this right now, and 65 likes. So there's a third of you that are in the minority. Maybe you are Juve fans. I don't know. Maybe you are Maybe you are. Then don't put a like if you're a Juve fan. That's fine. But if you're a Napoli fan, then you know you can minimize the screen for 1 second, smash that like button, and go back to full screen. Um, Also because, guys, I love doing these. I love doing these lives, and I want to reach more people, as many people as possible. But if YouTube algorithm doesn't see that my channel grows and doesn't see likes, it will not push this out to more people. So yeah. Miguel says, O Soldado Enamorado always sounds best after a victory. Forza Napoli sempre. Yeah, I love that this has come back. There was a period of, let's say, 5 to 10 years where it was not being played, and now it's come back after big wins, and it's incredible. It's just the best song. It's just incredible. I don't like so much the song at the start that they've put. I preferred Napoli, 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 I ragazzi della curva B. I liked that one more, but yeah, they have this new song now that I guess the curva likes this song. Fine. I'm a bit nostalgic and I like the previous one, but it's okay. Vincenzo says Garnacho's coming the last day of the window like Lukaku, and Lewis says that he has more potential, he can grow more and fights for his ball. Yeah, I think from a mentality and character point of view, I think Garnacho would fit in with Conte more than Adeyemi. Adeyemi, I see him more as he's very talented, but I don't know if he's got that cazzimma, whereas, and he could have it. But I know that Garnacho has it, I know that it's a match made in heaven, Garnacho and Conte. With Adeyemi, we don't know. It could be, but I don't know. Old Heart says, do you really think it's the Antonio effect? Yes, man. I mean, Antonio Conte is just incredible. Just incredible. And to think that Milan didn't take him, I think Conte might have potentially chosen Milan over Napoli had Milan put a serious offer on his table. And I mean, let's see if they will regret it long term. I think in the short term, yes, for sure. I mean, just look at Napoli right now. But I also think that Conte now, he knows he made the right choice. Maybe he was not so certain this summer. He was listening to the different offers. He went to hear what Milan had to say and all this. But now, I mean, he's in a title fight in his first season. He's enjoying it. He's in the South. He's from the South. I think he knows he's made the right choice now. Maybe in the future he also goes and changes clubs. I mean, we don't know, right? And then he tries maybe Milan. But for now, I think he made 100% the right choice, and we made the right choice. Tomorrow, Forza Lecce. Yes, Forza Lecce, guys. Mauro says Garnacho agreed to the transfer, but United and Napoli still have to agree on the price. Yeah, look, that's what I like about Garnacho as well, is that it's been very clear from the start that he wants to join, so that's great. Man United are obviously putting a super high price because they're like, okay, he's only 20, he's achieved a lot as a 20-year-old, so he's expensive. I think the prices are inflated. Like Kvara is 23, so not that much older than Garnacho, and he had already sort of been in the top 15, maybe top 10 of the Ballon d'Or. He won a Scudetto. Like Kvara, by the time he was 21, 22, already did a lot. No one can guarantee you that Garnacho has that same impact. And, obviously the potential is there. But I think when you start going above 50 million, that should only be for players that have really proven something already. I think just having the potential, it's good, but it should never cost you more than 50 million. I think that's too much, after that, for what is a promise. And also, if we buy someone for 70, then, I mean, it means you have to sell him for a crazy number later on if you want to have a profit. Or you keep him for so many years that you amortize him slowly, but still, what happens if, I don't know, yeah, I think 70 is too much. 70 is too much, guys. 70 is too much. Conte has given this team something to fight for, says Dead Zone. Que grinta, says Miguel. Yeah, guys, 100%. 0.74 xg versus 0.16 xg in the first half, says Napoli for Juve. Yeah, look, we dominated, especially in that second half. Guys. There's so many people on this chat. I'm trying to see which comments to pick up. Anthony Navarro says, damn, different type of life today. Forza Napoli, sempre. Yeah, look, and it's going to be like this against Roma as well. So I'm traveling for the entire week from, let's say, today until the end of next weekend. So for these two games, for Napoli Juve and for Roma Napoli, I will be doing these lives on my phone. And it's already a lot because actually, like, because I'm traveling, it's already a lot that I'm able to find organize myself in such a way that I can watch the game, do the live, have stable internet connection, all this kind of stuff. So I'm just grateful that I'm able to connect because, sometimes when you travel, it's a disaster, these kind of things. Real Rider says, big respect for Juan Jesus, also because he played with 90 minutes when he had problems before the game. Yeah. That was also something that we saw. We have to be very careful with these players. I said it before, we have to hope and pray that we don't get more injuries because this team is so thin. And maybe it's worth calling a few people on loan from other clubs that, look, they're not maybe going to add much from a quality point of view, but at least we won't have to be in a situation where we have Gilmour playing center back, one day because we don't have anybody. That will never happen, obviously. I mean, at most, maybe you would put Anguissa and then Gilmour, you put him in midfield. But, what happens if we don't have defenders? Buongiorno out, Oliveira out, Spinazzola is injury prone, Juan Jesus has got a certain age and his body can't take so much. Rafa Marin, yeah, you would have to put Rafa Marin. Or you go for the option of dropping Anguissa or dropping McTominay and playing Gilmour in the middle. Or you put Billing, I don't know. I mean, has anybody watched Billing play? I've never watched him play, so I don't know. But the guy's 2 meters tall, so for me, good enough to be a defender. Fine, you can get all the crosses. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, we're thin, and so I think we should be looking at just getting some people on loan, guys from other teams, even if it's people that don't play much, just so that if someone gets injured in the department, we at least have a player that knows the position over there. Right. We just matched our entire points tally for last season since Vincenzo Bertillo. That's crazy. How good we are this season, because that is still a very high number to do within January, but it's also crazy how bad we were last season with a similar group of players. Guys, there's just so many comments, but I have to go, guys. It's 9 p.m. As you know, I'm on vacation. I'm traveling, and I have commitments for tonight. So last few comments, guys. Please forgive me, but yeah. I mean, I can't spend my Saturday night in Paris at home. I have to leave the house at some point. But then maybe I do I'll definitely do some shorts and some stuff like that this week. Also because I finished the project that I was doing for the last, let's say, 6 weeks. So I'll be able to find a bit more time in the morning to do some stuff. It won't be so crazy with work this week, I don't think. So yeah, I'll do some shorts and talk about Garnacho and this game and all this kind of stuff. Olit says, and I'll leave it with this. I love the mister. I dream of his pretty face every night. I think that's perfect. Who hasn't dreamt of Antonio Conte at some point over the last 6 months? If you haven't, you're a liar. Justin Giuliano says, the North looks down on the peasants. That's why it's sweet to beat them. Exactly, man. Exactly. Titus Tolea, I always mess up your name, man. I call you TT. Says, always said we should have gotten a good coach instead of a good coach of Conte's caliber after Spalletti. We sell for Garcia and the other messes. Yeah, man. Dude, I think players right now, compared to maybe 20, 30 years ago, are more on the same level. Like, a player at the top of the Serie A is only maybe 5% better than a player in the middle of the Serie A. So what I think really makes a difference nowadays is the coaches. Because I think 30, 40 years ago, clubs maybe didn't have as many foreigners. They didn't have so you were selecting from a smaller pool, and you didn't have all the data available to you to select the player for you. I think there was a lot of players that didn't, get picked up by the system. Nowadays, I feel like the general level is so high that even people in mid-table are actually pretty good. So what's really making the difference now is the coaches, in my opinion. And we saw that, with Spalletti and Conte, it's one story, and with Garcia and the others, it's another. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to go. I'm sorry, but we'll talk. We'll catch up because this is a great moment for Napoli, and I wanna make sure that we find the right time to speak about everything. The mercato, how good Meret has been, how good Juan Jesus has been, and guys, enjoy your evening. Dream about Juan Jesus and Conte with a shiny piece of metal, maybe. I don't know, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves, So, guys, and by the way, thank you, TT, for the New Zealand dollar. Amazing, man. And that is 10 super chats in this live, so that's great. And Mike, thank you for the $2 as well. Says, Anguissa, I screamed and slapped the bar. Amazing, guys. Amazing. I appreciate all of you guys. Love you all. Well, see you at some point this week before Roma-Napoli. Enjoy your evening, guys. Un saluto, and as always, Forza Napoli sempre. Ciao.